You're now listening to All Hogs Sports. Covering all Arkansas Razorback sports, such as football, basketball, baseball, and much more. Now, here's your host for today's show, Sam Stimson.
So on Saturday, Arkansas's 9-game winning streak came to a close. They lost a 1-point game at Alabama, 68-67. They did end up covering the spread in this one. Now, a loss is a loss, and I'm not going to sit here and say this was like the best case scenario because it wasn't, but it really wasn't that bad of a loss. A one-loss game on the road against an opponent who's projected as a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament is not that big of a deal. Arkansas played on the road and played pretty bad, just for the basic road stats. Like, rebounding can travel. Arkansas out-rebounding Baylor by 6, but shooting sometimes can't, and Arkansas shot 31.4% as a team. The big number from this one, though, and I think it's a common performance for many college basketball teams, but I especially noticed it with Arkansas the last few years. When Arkansas has a poor shooting performance, you can go look at the layups and usually see how bad they are. 9 out of 23 for layups for Arkansas. That's an awful number. 0 for 2 on dunks. And, you cannot miss 14 layups and then expect to win games. Arkansas shot 70 times and only made 22 shots. It was very bad. Alabama made 24 shots, but they only shot 56 times. Arkansas missing 14 layups and only making 22 other shots is it's very frustrating. 31.4% from field goal range that's not common for this team. 28.6% from 3. We've seen Arkansas go under 30% from 3 in a good amount of games. So, that's not really a huge surprise, but again, that does, go down to shooting on the road and such. And then free throws were 70%. Not bad, but not that good. Jalen ended up missing 4 free throws. Pretty uncommon for him. But Tony missed 2 free throws, and you've seen him miss a good amount of free throws at Pittsburgh and Arkansas. Now, the main thing that I just think is so frustrating about this game is how Arkansas had such a good opportunity to win, especially with how they played on defense. Like I've said, Arkansas is able to just play defense and win a lot of games, and I still think that's true. Shooting 31.4% on the road is not that common. Arkansas out-rebounded Alabama by 6, still ended up losing. They forced 24 turnovers and lost. Out of those 26 turnovers, Arkansas only had 6 fast break points. It's just really frustrating. Your points per possession level really low at .893. But something I did like out of this game is Arkansas fought hard. They were down double digits within the second half, backed in their own corner, and they ended up making a game out of it. Huge game from Stanley Amude. He had 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. He ended up fouling out late in the game with around 3 minutes left, and I do think that really hurt Arkansas as, when Arkansas has Amude, Williams, and Note on the floor, they've got 3 solid guys on offense, but when one of them's off the floor, you really see this team struggling. Note getting in foul trouble additionally. Note put up 2 fouls in about 4 minutes with 0 points in the first part of the game. He just played the whole second half and only got 1 foul, but he did not play the last 16 minutes. Arkansas kept it manageable there, but when Note came back in the second half, he truly wasn't himself. 4 out of 11, 2 for 5 from 3, not the best there. But he just wasn't warmed up and wasn't as on as somebody who would have played the first half and then the second one. Really, really fought hard, though. I've seen the officiating being a main point of talk, and I do think there's valid criticism of the officials and, was the last shot by Gurley a travel or not, and the inbounds plays and such like that. But I can't blame a loss on officiating in general. I have a hard time doing that. But especially this one when Arkansas, shot below 32%, and overall was 9 out of 23 from layups. There was just so many different problems there. And additionally, the final possession, There's been a lot of talk about Must call the timeout there. And the thing is, Must doesn't call a timeout there normally. You've seen it work a lot, though. Georgia Tech a couple years ago at Rupp Arena versus Kentucky, Texas Tech in the NCAA tournament. You've seen it work so commonly for Arkansas not to call a timeout on offense and win this game. I don't have a problem with not calling a timeout, but I think the final play was not good. Like, you don't dribble the ball for 20 seconds and then try some crazy three-pointer when you're down one. And Note understands that. I'm not blaming him for the loss because I think you win and lose as a team, especially in college basketball. I don't have an issue with not calling a timeout because it's worked a lot for Arkansas, and that's a coach's philosophy based off of statistics, analytics, and experience. And it's proven to work a lot for Arkansas. But when we do lose, it always comes up in criticism. But, when you win, it's never talked about. I like the way that Arkansas had looks on defense. It was just tough with Amude not being out there. Additionally, Williams had a great game. He's been on a tear recently, as most people know. 22 points and 10 rebounds, picking up a double-double in this one. Something that's been hurting Arkansas the last few games is Trey Wade has been in a slump. Last 4 games, he has only had 5 points total. 3 out of those 4 games, he has put up 0 points. He had no points in this one, only registering 12 minutes with a plus or minus of 10 under. So getting him to play, back at his normal level would be nice for Arkansas. Chris Lykes struggled in this game too. Devo Davis too. Both of them were combined 3 out of 16 from the floor. 0 for 4 from 3 for the both of them. Davis had 3 turnovers. Lykes had none. Lykes picked up 2 steals, though. Lykes, Devo, sometimes their shots selection can be off, and the thing Musselman does is he gives the guys a lot of offensive freedom with defensive discipline, and you've got to use the offensive freedom, though, to make better shots. And overall, though, as I talked about a lot of that, I still don't think this is that big of a deal. This is a game I expected Arkansas to lose, and I really don't think it's hitting the resume too much, as you see on many metric trackers. Arkansas will be just fine. Now, the last time Arkansas actually lost a game, their next opponent was Missouri, and it's going to be the same way this time. Arkansas travels to the Missouri Tigers Mizzou Arena on February 15th. They play at 8 p.m. on SEC Network. Arkansas 19-6, Missouri a lot less at 10-14. Last time these two teams played was at Bud Walton Arena earlier this season. Arkansas scored a tremendous amount in the first half. They won that game 87-43, and Missouri's been struggling extremely bad this season. Mizzou can just not shoot that well at all. Their offense is really bad. Shooting at 3-point percentage, 28.5%. Their 2-point percentage is 151th in the nation. They just don't shoot the basketball well. And Arkansas plays really good defense, so obviously I like them in that matchup. However, one guy on this team that's actually pretty good is Kobe Brown. He's one of the best rebounders in the nation, getting 8.1 rebounds per game, and he's ranked in offensive rebound and defensive rebounding percentage, block percentage, steal percentage. He's really solid on defense. He's one of their better offensive players, too. They run a lot of plays for him. Like Arkansas did in the last game, I do expect them to trap him a lot and leave other guys open. Brown averages 12.9 points per game in games where Mizzou's gotten upsets over teams like Alabama. They have really utilized his shooting ability and such. So I do expect Arkansas to trap him a lot and leave other guys open. Arkansas did that in their last game against Mizzou. Now at point guard for Mizzou will be Coleman. He averages 3 assists per game. He's their top point guard and playmaker there. He's all right at finding open guys and such, but his offensive rating is still kind of low. But looking at the lineups for Mizzou, though a lot of times they're going to run Jaron Coleman at the point guard. Shooting guard, Amari Davis. Shooting forward, Dejon Gordon. Power forward, Ronnie DeGray. And then center, Kobe Brown. They'll sub in Trayvon Brazell a lot for DeGray, also working Caleb Brown into the rotation. There really won't be much of any other guys, though, off the bench that will make a huge impact. This Missouri team really isn't that deep or that talented. Now, Arkansas was on that 9-game winning streak until they lost at Alabama, but now they go into the road to play the Missouri Tigers. Arkansas this season led by J.D. Note, 18.8 points per game. Jalen Williams, 9.2 rebounds per game. That's good for second in the SEC. J.D.'s really became that point guard player that the Hogs have needed, as that's the main reason why they've struggled a lot this season. J.D. averaging 3.5 assists per game has been huge for Arkansas. He's been taking the majority of time at that point guard position. Chris Likes also running some time as J.D. tends to get in foul trouble. For Arkansas, though, I do expect them to run the lineup a lot with J.D., Odise, Trey Wade, Stanley Mude, and Jalen Williams. Wade has not been playing the best recently, so Devo does sub in for him, and then Tony switches over to the 3 spot in that scenario, so you'll also see a lot of that lineup. Sometimes you'll see Amude just get subbed out, but usually he's been on top recently on his defense and such. He's been playing a lot better defense, so you'll see your playing time increase, especially here with the Arkansas system. Keys for the game for Arkansas to win this one, really, all they have to do is play defense. Missouri's definitely not that good on offense or defense, so if they can just play their style of defense, top 20 in the nation right now in that, and hold Missouri to well below 70 points, I don't see a situation where Arkansas honestly scores less than 70 unless we have another awful road game. But especially after a loss, I feel like you're really toned in on how can we, raise our shooting percentages on the road, and Arkansas will work on that. I expect Arkansas to win this one pretty easily. I'll talk more about that here in a sec, but a win here really wouldn't do much for the resume. A loss would hurt the resume, a win wouldn't. So really, Missouri has everything to gain, I guess. Maybe get closer to an NIT berth if they're lucky. But Arkansas really doesn't have much to gain here, except for, I guess, a win, get back on the winning streak. But, I really wouldn't say it's a trap game just because I'm not that concerned. But, again, it's college basketball. You have to be on, your best watch and play to win beat your opponent. Now, ESPN gives Arkansas a 82.2% chance to win, and KenPom has Arkansas winning this game by 6. So expect the spread to somewhere be around 6, 7, 8, 9. Could be even more. We'll just have to see. It can be tricky, though, because some teams have played Missouri at home and not played good this year. That's one of the weirder arenas. I mean, Arkansas struggled there this season, too. You look this season, teams like Florida only got out with a 1-point win there. Auburn only got out with a 1-point win there. Texas A&M got out with a 3-point win. Mississippi ended up losing there. So, again, I think it will be closer than, I guess, the one was at Budwell in the Arena. But I do predict Arkansas to win this game 75-69. I think Arkansas's defense is going to be really solid, may even let down a little bit. Mizzou's going to shoot better at home, though, than they did at Budwell in the Arena. That's almost a given, just based off of, how teams play on and off the road. If you look at their shooting percentage when they came down to Budwell in the Arena, they shot 29.2%, and I don't think it'll be that poor this time. Their 3 was at 12.5%. It could be like that again. But the keys for Arkansas for this one is really just trap Kobe Brown and limit what other guys can do. If you can limit Brown, limit Coleman, Pickett. But, letting him score 43 last time was huge. Arkansas does know the keys how to beat this team, and I do expect Arkansas to go 2-0 and sweep the Tigers here. Now, I'll be back later this week recapping this Missouri game and previewing Arkansas's next game. Nothing's easy in this conference as Arkansas has, after this, a tough game at home against Tennessee. But I'll be previewing that later, so y'all know the deal. Woo pig suey.
That's all for today's episode of All Hogs Sports with Sam Stimson. Make sure to stay tuned for the next episode covering all Arkansas Razorback sports. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on social media too. On Twitter and Instagram at All Hogs Sports Pod. Like on Facebook at All Hogs Sports, an Arkansas Razorbacks podcast. And on YouTube at that same name.